That's what happened essentially in 1929, 1930, 1931. People suddenly did not believe in those institutions. And they said, I want my money. It's better to be first in line than last in line. Everybody tried to be first. Everybody can't be first. So many banks were failing. You had massive failures. And there's no doubt that during this last episode of this financial issue, both the Bush administration and the Obama administration have made one thing perfectly clear. They will not let, that is the government, will not let the financial sector go under. People may gripe about the big banks. They may gripe about the bonuses here and there. The government will not let the financial sector go under because it will be so disruptive to the economy that it will cause real pain. Major unemployment, major cutbacks in production, and other such problems. So in that sense, there is that faith. We have faith in those institutions. And indeed, as you watched the progress, we've had some bank failures in certain situations, but not of the same magnitude, not nearly of the same degree of severity that we had in the early 30s. And then there was that sense that the banks would not fail. Now the other element that played a role is something we did because of the 1930s. We introduced FDIC insurance. So in that sense, your money was insured up to a certain point. So that you had that built in. Now, where you did have runs on banks or on financial institutions, the investment banks, the Bear Stearns, they're not your normal bank. They don't do business with people like us. They do business with large groups, investment groups. Well, those investment groups started hearing certain chattering, and suddenly, what did they do? They started pulling their money. The chief financial officer for Bear Stearns went to work on Monday morning, $18 billion right in his account. Not his personal account, but Bear Stearns. By the end of the day, it was almost complete. Scary. To watch money come and go that fast. They went under. The same happening. Lehman Brothers had some of the same problems. So you had some partial runs because people suddenly lost faith in that institution, its ability to survive. So faith is a very important part of the financial sector. We believe that financial sector is solvent. We believe that if we leave our money with them, we can always use it as a medium of exchange. So in that sense, faith in the financial sector is extraordinarily important. And any president, regardless of what party they belong to, what their own personal values might be, what their convictions are, liberal, conservative, or whatnot, they will not let the financial sector go under. And they will accept the pain of whatever people complain about in that process. And I think for the most part, this is certainly why Ben Bernanke was reappointed, because he had been working through that problem and actually did an extremely silly move on the part of President Obama to replace him in midstream. And he didn't. So you got faith. Faith in the system. Faith in the financial sector. Faith that your assets will be good. That's one part. Second part of faith is very interesting. many of we're all part of a university system here, are connected somehow. Not everybody. Jack there, okay. But and we have our retirement systems. But you know, I haven't, in my retirement plan, I haven't put aside 10,000 bushels of wheat that I can call on. I have a bunch of paper being held by the Louisiana Teachers Association retirement system. They tell me it's worth a certain amount of money. And they tell me they'll be able to pay me for once I retire, they'll pay me till I expire. And it's there. But what is it? It's paper. Nothing but paper. But we believe that that paper is going to be worth something. It's going to be good. It's going to be retrievable. I can convert it to real assets. If it be cars, boats, food, medicine, whatever, I can convert it. So we have this not only at immediate, but over the long term, this faith in the system that it will survive. Otherwise, we'll all be trying to do what? Buy real property. Get me a couple of cars, save them up, and everything. So that faith is an important part of it. And how do you get the faith? The system has worked. If it were to break down every year, you would have to have a new system. So we have to make sure the system works. And that's part of the deal. So the faith. So again, in the church, there is this element of faith. In the economy, there's this element of faith that you must have. Second, the miracles. I guess one of those famous stories from the New Testament was about Jesus feeding the flock. 5,000 people, not counting women and children. I don't know who they were at that time, not counting women and children. But 5,000 people, and they didn't have any food, and the little boy had 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread, and somehow Jesus turned that into a feast. And not only did they have enough food, they took things home with them. The miracle of production. You know, that story, if you look at what's happened to our standard of living, it's a simple miracle. What's amazing, in 1900, it took half of the people to produce food for everybody. Half of the people. Today, it takes less than 1% of the people to produce food for everybody. And not only that, we can produce a lot more food than that. That's an incredible miracle. A miracle from making use of God's resources, but of the mind that He gave us, and from the proper incentives. So again, you saw this incredible ability of our society to feed ourselves. In 1900, you had 2 fishes and 5 loaves of bread. In 2010, you have magnitudes of food that we can produce now. In the early 1800s, Thomas Malthus decided or thought that he saw a famine coming because population was exploding exponentially, at least as he saw food production was only increasing arithmetically. But that's not the way it happened. Food production also increased exponentially. Think about the other miracles you might have.